All right. Good morning. What happened? Is the rally over? Somebody blinked? Somebody didn't put cookies out with the warm milk? Uh, well, maybe you get a red bar ignored. We'll see. We'll see. Beginning of the day, things are down here a bit, whatever numbers there were. Now the question is, does it hold at the next support level? Make a higher low. So yesterday, we were looking at these areas, right? And was it here? What time is that? 10 o'clock. It was about 10 o'clock. Yep. It was where I commented that the futures were up into this near this resistance area, and we talked about absorbing supply. And then once they started to inch through it, they just popped up, and then it was kind of like a nothing the rest of the day. And it even cleared these highs. And this is why you need a fluid method, just based on price action, because things look like they were going higher. If there's nothing here, and what we do is, using price action, look at a pivot. So, a pivot formed. All right, no big deal. Now it's got to make a higher low. Okay, it did. Can it get through the pivot? It's supposed to after that kind of strength. It does have a void here. As the day went on, traders were disinterested, and it held that pivot. And now here we are. It's at that point they were waiting for today's news. Very news-driven market. Everybody is, afraid of not pressing the button, you're going to miss out, and then afraid once they did press the button. And so it's a move from fear to fear, and mild fear of losing out versus the greed and whatever. But so now, as it comes down toward this support area, there isn't much, and down here is, the most obvious place for prices, the S&Ps to come down to, since we've got a couple of pivots there, which is about yesterday's low. And just bar by bar coming down to yesterday's low. It shouldn't retrace that far. It isn't a downtrend. And earlier in the week, we spoke about the angle of retracement being bearish, but still thought, hey, maybe this thing could get up to the 50 MA. Now that's in question. So by the end of the day, other than day trading, by the end of the day, looking at this chart and from a point of view of can we still maintain some kind of minor counter trend rally going into the Christmas end of year holiday? Can this either be a red bar ignored, or by the end of the day turn into a bottoming tail bar? So we can't get hung up on this being a red bar at 9:05 in the morning. All right, so let's move along. S&Ps, same story. They got through that resistance and then started poking their head. And look, generally 3 tries and you're out. This is a general rule, 3 pivots, and especially one, little top tail breakout, the failure like that, the expression, put a fork in it, it's done. It's going to pull back. And so, this is coming down here. And SPY, where are you? Gapping below, green bars low. That's why I look at all of these, the perspective of the gap. And so that's bearish. Now, in the context of this hourly chart, it's just, a big whippy mess, because it's got this support here. So the obvious question is, can it get through it? And when you look at the weekly chart, you say, sure, why not? But, we have to see what plays out here today. That's a pretty potent gap lower below that green bar. But the next support is right here. So who wants to short this when you've got a support level right here, and I can draw that out. You got a support level there, and you got a resistance level there, and kind of which way is it going to go? Can it recover from here and go back up? Will it hang here and break lower? Just based on the size of the gap, you would They go, okay, after a half hour, if it can't bounce, odds are it's going lower. So it's not a good setup here. Not like what we looked at yesterday in MT Live with gaps that were clearing resistance or support and nothing was there. This will be a little more difficult. So where does that leave us with SPY? Okay, so now I know where SPX, where SPY is, gapping below that bar. So we definitely want to be above this high, and being above 3,900 was a little bit of a heart burner, but it worked. All right. And I said, we'll see if it pops up. And it did. So, all right. So now this is gapping down here. 3905. 3905. It should be good. I mean, unless this thing gaps down and starts ripping to the upside, but gapping below a green bar's low like that, it's got a long way to travel. And progressing 3785, 37. It's reasonable. It's reasonable. I would say it's not all of that. I wouldn't call it a no-brainer. Today is a big disappointment that, what was supposed to happen. What was supposed to happen? It was turn day. And it was supposed to be maybe a minor gap lower, and then continue to work its way higher to be able to eat through 3,900 and then potentially get up toward the 20. So that's not happening today. If there was juice above 3920, I would say, okay, now, we're into no brainer. But again, it's opening down here. Can it get back through that? And then get to 05. I'm not going to give it a definitive yes, but since it's gapping down here, I prefer to see if the sellers keep coming and get something closer to 3,800. We got 3785. I think that's good. I just would wait a few minutes just to see if it continues to drop toward 3,800, because if it comes down here, there's going to be buyers, and then it could just be, the beginnings of a trading range. But now that it's gapping below here, clearly that's going to be a lot of resistance. So even if it does turn that around, this gap reversal, odds are it's not getting through it. All right. Yeah, anything can always happen. We always got to approach the markets from that point of view. Otherwise, we would remove our stop losses and stand there naked. So, you get a better look, with the 24-hour trading, and the Qs aren't bouncing here, and interest rates are going up. Right? Yesterday, oh no, they're down here a little bit. Well, that was green. Dan would love to stay naked. Could be. So the question is, this is now down at support where there's going to be buyers. That's why we mark these with this pivot low, or in TC 2000, just marks it with a green dot. Because when you got multiple pivots and areas of congestion, there's going to be demand there. So gap down isn't a no-brainer to just go ahead and short it, looking at the 24-hour chart. So that's likely to move a bit lower and then try and bounce. YM, it's been the stronger. Came down real hard. And give me a second here. So this one was the strongest, and it got through that resistance. And I would have thought, okay, up toward the 20 MA. That was the idea yesterday, if it continues to be strong. And now we've got 3 pivot highs up there. So now we got 3 pivot highs, significant resistance, and pivot only got 1 pivot low down there. So we'll see if this makes a higher low. And why would I think that? Well, because the NASDAQ is already down to its pivots there. And S&Ps are almost there. So if they get down there and start to bounce, it's likely they would, or they should, the Dow won't get down to that level. Is SPY gives at 383 and 380 in the crosshairs. Well, yeah. I mean, look, it's gapping down here, right? It's gapping down there. So just like we look to the left on the futures where there's pivots, this unfilled gap, unless there's, we're going to see some kind of wild price action, like buyers are going to step up here immediately because of the holiday, whatever. I don't think anybody's going to want to buy. I wouldn't want to buy unless it got down into this area here, because you always want to buy at support and you want to short at resistance. The basic. All right. 10-year just down a little bit, hang in there. You see the weekly chart. We've talked about that for a few weeks, looking for the turn to happen here. So now it's flipped back up again, not doing too much, but, it's got areas of congestion. So it's not going to be, this is the interpretation when we look to the left and look at the price action. And at times markets, no matter what the market is, stock, ETF, whatever, futures, you have to approach it in a systematic way, meaning how large is the area of price resistance. So when I see this congestion over here, this slop back and forth, I would look at that as saying, okay, well, to some degree, some of this has been tested already, that it whipped up and down, but it's all in the same area here. And it's got this bottoming price action. And so far, it's consolidating near that resistance area. So my interpretation would be it's unlikely that it will make a power move into that. That's the initial thought. But as long as if this continues to go sideways, building an area of support, you will see traders will become more confident. And it's the idea of also absorbing supply and the psychology of the pattern. So once it takes this out, it could make a pretty quick move up to 3.8 in that 50 MA. So it's about the time correction in this area rather than, as it goes sideways through time, rather than think, oh, it's impossible to get through that. Well, it's not impossible. It's on an area of significant support. It's bottoming out on the weekly. The daily is going sideways for several days. There's a hesitancy to buy here. And so, you got this reversal day, whether it's 3 days or whether it's tomorrow, whatever it takes that out, buyers will come in more aggressively. Yeah. And theoretically, because the inverse relationship this year, the markets will go lower. Yesterday, we covered the dollar. You got other currencies going in either direction, but this is on a major support point. We'll see if this actually can get turned around. And well, this looks like it's going to go lower. Slopping back and forth here, topping tail on the weekly. I mean, it's a messy pattern. It's nothing that jumps out at me as like, let's do something there. Angle of retracement, there's nothing's happening here, to think, oh, those that would be short, why would they want to cover? And it depends on their time frame that they're trading. But, this is going to, I would think, move lower. We don't see pre-market, but I think it's going to move lower, and we'll see what it does here today. And, got that same weekly nasty topping tail bar signaling things are going to go down. And I just want to take a look at SMH yesterday was showing relative strength when the market started to whip around, like it went down and back up again. And so that was looking good. And now it's gapping below the green bar. So, bears back in control. This was like a minor control for bulls, it came down to the 50 and, could pop back up. And this gap down just a little bit of a disappointment, other than looking for this little pop into resistance and then the sell. We'll see what happens. Oil working its way up to resistance here. Alex pointing out XOP. And it's hanging up there, W type of a bottom, but a weekly 1, 2, 3. It's kind of a coin flippish, I think. What that'll do. XLY, consumer discretionary, that broke down with Tesla. So, that was what I quoted as the fly in the ointment in the bull case for the end of the year, because that isn't that's looking bad. And you can see this kind of head and shoulders action there. So far, it's kind of holding that pivot low for now. And we'll see if this recovers or not. And pretty much everything has messy price action here. So we'll see which way it goes. Gold giving it back here. If you're a day trader, maybe that might be a place to focus. But equity's coming down to some support. I think the open was kind of be like the way the last couple of them have been, whipping back and forth. And we'll see what unfolds after 20 minutes or so. All yours, Dan. That's already moved up a bunch.
Good morning. You done?
Yeah. I was hand off by it's all yours, Dan.
All right. So yesterday I was fully bullish. We did well. We closed some things, took partial profits, moved stops break even. So I'll be doing the same on the opens, but today I'm bearish. And that's, swings. I don't even really think about it, but for day trades, I'm looking to short bounces. We only did one earnings trade. It's gapping against us, but we did the 49s. So we still have $3 of cushion for tomorrow. So I'm hoping we can get out at a nice gain at the open here. I'll keep an eye on it as always. I've been watching these oils for the last couple of days. That's a textbook W bottom. What made it more difficult was I wasn't going to buy yesterday because of this ugly red bar. It gave us actually a beautiful pullback and 180 reversal on the 15-minute chart. In retrospect, that was your no-brainer entry. And let's see, the other two I was watching was COP and Valo. Valo actually getting down, which is okay, because then if it takes, I'm going to set an alarm at 123.50. If we can get over that 15 minutes, and I already got an alarm there, good. All right, let's go to other earnings things. MU gapping down. I said yesterday, man, oh man, this thing is relative weakness to the SMHs. I don't know what they're doing over there, but that's not good. And that's another company to add to the list of layoffs announcements. Milk in here was up, now down. I don't know, I'm not gonna mess with that. Paychecks was up, now down. I actually had this on my put spread list when it was up. And now, see, that's the beauty of what we do. We don't hold, there, I don't know if I learned this from Greg or read it in a book. One of my trader psychology things, he says, I hold no judgment on a stock. Says, I don't care what you do. My bias changes with the technical setup as a technician. So I went from a bullish watch to a put spread watch to a call spread watch in 15 minutes. All right, KMX we talked about, APOG. That's a big old mess. These were a couple leftovers from yesterday. Momo, I'm watching on I would love a 1, 2, 3. Daily, weekly, monthly, look like it has room to 10. Alex mentioned this Bodri ETF. I'll watch on a pullback, GNW on a pullback. Tech looks good, daily, weekly, monthly. So hopefully it'll give us an inside bar or two with the market gap down. Cent, I said pre-market yesterday, if this can get over this ugly red bar, it could be a big bottoming pattern and it sliced through it. Nothing to do now, but I'll keep an eye on it. 6 was a gap up yesterday on some activation accumulation news. Myrna, let's see if we can get a 1, 2, 3. TTC, a gap reversal. Nilly and his cousin is what, AGNC? VRNS, we actually entered yesterday. There's my below Boyle EDU. I like as a core on a pullback, but wow, this Land V was a recent Chinese IPO. Look at that, cut in half, more than half. Rick had earnings recently, and I've been watching that for a couple days. If we didn't get out in the video, what's the best game plan? On about 30-minute low, Mitch, and then on a bounce. Yeah, we had a NVIDIA put spread that I took profits yesterday. Also took profits on SMH. I took profits on the afternoon here. Look at the high on the 15-minute chart. It had this breakout failure. And I said, you know what? Let's just take our money. We were at, I don't know, 55, 60% of max gain. So we are not sitting through this. So that makes you feel good if you did get out. If not, we'll manage it with you. Tesla, there was an article in the journal today where they were making fun of him. They made up like an ad looking for a new CEO for Twitter. And it's like, we're looking for a CEO that has no power, that I can ridicule and trash and shit on you. So if you want to apply, they're just saying he's one of the worst people in the tech world to work for. I'll start my list down here. WDC. This was, I think, on earnings gap, shallow bounce, bearish weekly, monthly. Now it's what we call an end of day. Yeah, Nazar, I just talked about it. I got the 49s, so I'll be watching it at the open. Hopefully we have an open profit, and I'm just going to kill it at the open, but I'll keep you posted. This is an end of day rally, or decline rather, and now it's gapping down, so it should bounce. WDC on the 15, but I'd be looking to short that on a bounce. Yeah. Here's the bottoming pattern. I like it. WKS, Twinks, 228 earnings. Yeah, looks good. So let's just watch it, Thomas, with the broader market bias. I'm not thinking long at all. I'm not thinking long or short at the open. Gotta watch. on CAG. Yeah, broke out, you know, ideally it'd chop around for a couple days. Yeah, that's a beautiful closing breakout, man. Yes, that's going on the list, Thomas. As always, we look at the cousin, deer, see, remember our optometrist A/B test? Cat is superior because of the closing breakout. Look at all this resistance to the left. However, you know, it's a buy setup on the weekly. It's still strong. It's just the daily is superior on the other one. Beaky here. You know, this, hey, Greg, you know how you talk about head and shoulders that fail? So this is a head and shoulders pattern, right? And it really didn't trigger per se, but look, bottoming tail, gap reversal, now gapping up over these tails with a price void. So Greg talks about head and shoulders that fail can be beautiful longs if you have a void like this. All right, I've got no interest in paycheck, so let me put old Wiki here. What's going on with APE and AMC? I mean, there's definitely news. So APE is the preferred on AMC. This thing's ripping up and AMC down. Fails only above hit. No, over the right shoulder. No, right shoulder, Alex. So AMC, I saw something in the journal that they were you know, looking at buying Cinemark or whatever that competitor is, but so I don't know, something's going on in Ape land. SLDP, possible. Wants to convert preferred to common. So why is preferred rallying? Preferred, they had preferential treatment in bankruptcy to common. So, yeah, I'd rather have preferred on that stock, not have converted. Yeah, well, yeah, they gotta have a conversion feature, but I don't understand why it's rallying. But whatever, we can talk about it later. All right, so this is a potential bottoming pattern. It's a Climo, had a small breakdown failure there. Range expansion yesterday, now, you know, up a little bit at resistance. What's going on the watch list? West had an ugly gap down, and it's not, well, I don't know where earnings are, but I got no interest in that stock. Light volume. Cliff, I just saw it pop in here pre-market for some reason. No great pattern because look at all the resistance, but McGraw could be a put spread idea. Okta over yesterday's high looks great. I posted FLNC over yesterday's high as a buy setup, thinking that it was gapping to 20, but it's not. I'll just leave it because there's no harm. I don't think it's gonna trigger. GMX. Let's see how friggin' spready these puts are. Yeah, they're not open yet. They're still 65, right? 75. That's yesterday's closing price. So KMX is not open yet. All right. VRNS. We bought it yesterday. I just had a low alarm go off, but nothing to do. Set early alarms. I'm going to set a new alarm, 2385. 390, new low alarm, 23. KMX rallying. So as soon as they open, I hate that, you know, you're getting a bounce, you want to get out, and the damn option maker is not open for business yet. It's so annoying. Abco of the gap. That is a deep gap, you're right. We sold a third at the high and we moved stop break even, which is actually 550. So we're in it by a thread. Look at this WDC, it's not bouncing. Look at that. It's 9:32, but these stupid CarMax options are not open yet. Why? Can somebody tell me why? Why? Why are they not open? That's like, well, I'll give you the cynical answer. The cynical answer is because the market maker wants to protect his butt for some reason. No, liquidity has nothing to do with them opening. You know, Alex, they can open and have crazy wide spreads. That's different. But this Jack, that's the market maker's name, is Jack, is not even open. I remember this bio from yesterday. That was a nice 1, 2, 3 there when I mentioned it yesterday morning. All right, look at all right, WDC spiders. I'm fully bearish here. It's just a matter of, you know, there's no good entries here. We're down a lot pre-market, approaching this gap fill, so I'm still not sure what to do here. Now now that's me on the bid. All right, I'm bidding 20. All right, KMX. I have these in multiple accounts, so let's bid on 30, 35 to get out. Yeah, bid. Let's close at 30, just to be done with it.
Fast, mentioned it yesterday. Maybe 5-minute low or 15-minute low. Fast.
So, all right, done. Filled. Yeah, that looks good. I'll give it 30 minutes as Beaky's coming in. All right, KMX, I'm done. I'll put fast here. So I'll get it